just so you know. One more click to the right. That's off. Okay? Okay. Then the examiner is going to say, okay, Tobares, whenever you're ready, go ahead and perform your air brake test. Tell him, before I got in the truck, I did make sure the wheels were shocked.
Before I got in the truck, I did make sure the wheels were shocked.
Now I'm going to put on my seatbelt.
Now I'm going to put on my seatbelt.
It's properly mounted and secured to the cab.
It's properly mounted and secured to the cab.
It's not ripped, torn, or frayed.
It's not ripped, torn, or frayed.
And it locks and releases properly.
And it locks and releases properly.
Okay? I have 2 air gauges.
I have 2 air gauges.
A primary gauge and a secondary gauge.
Primary gauge and a
And you need to point at him, or else he will ask you which one's your primary. Okay? If you don't point to him, he's going to tell you which one's your primary. Then you point to him. Okay, so I've got a primary gauge and a secondary gauge.
I got a primary gauge and I got a secondary gauge.
For today's test, all the readings are going to come from the primary gauge.
For today's test, all my readings are going to come from my primary gauge.
Okay. Now we turn the key on so we can see where our pressure is at.
To the left.
To the right. Half of one click. Right there. Okay? Then we'll let them do their thing. And no readings yet. We're just going to tell them my pressure's too high to begin the test, so I'm going to bring it down.
My pressure's too high to begin the test, so I'm going to bring it down.
Bring it down to 100. And it could be lowered, no problem. Okay. Now I'm going to perform my safe start.
I'm going to perform my safe start.
I'm going to make sure both my brakes are applied.
I'm going to make sure both my brakes are applied.
The truck is in neutral.
The truck is in neutral.
Start the truck. Then we're going to tell the examiner. The first test I'm going to perform is the applied air liquids test.
The first test I'm going to perform is the applied air liquids test.
Now on your own, start building up your governor cutout. That's the first part of the applied air liquids test. My governor cut out at 135 psi. So this is a good test because it cut out no higher than 140 psi. Now you shut off the truck. Let it die. Now turn the battery back to the on position. To the right. Right there. Okay? Now you push in the parking brake and the turning brake. Okay, then we need to let the gauges stabilize because we're losing pressure. Whenever it stops moving, all the way to the floor with the brake. You're good. Let it stabilize one more time. We're going to go with 98. So we're going to tell this one. My primary gauge reads 98 psi.
The primary gauge is 98 psi.
Can you please start my 1 minute? Right? You can put your hands on your leg. You can put 2 feet on the brake. Just do not let go of that brake. Because if he hears any air pressure coming out of the brakes, that's a fail. Once you push it down, you better keep it down. Okay?
One thing, like doing the motion, but
Yeah, right? That's why every now and then I'm trying to. She did a minute, you did a minute. Maybe within the next couple of days, I'll make you guys do a minute. Right? You start to get leg burn and shit.
yeah.
It's like, damn, and I thought I was a stud. Fucking shit.
Man,
Uh-huh. Okay. You want me to stop? That's okay. Don't hit it again. Don't hit it no more because we're just going to lose air pressure. So tell the examiner. So the examiner says, the examiner's going to say, okay, Tobares, you're 1 minute up. So you tell the examiner, after 1 minute, my primary gauge still reads 98 psi.
After 1 minute, my primary gauge still reads 98 psi.
So this is a good test
So this is a good test
because I did not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute.
because I did not lose more than 4 psi.
And we let the brake go. Okay? That's the last thing we do in that test. Okay. Yeah, you gotta give them the reading and tell them why it was a good test, and then you take it further. Okay. The next test I'm gonna perform is the low air warning test. Now you pump until your buzzer comes on. Okay. Then we're gonna hit it one more time. Okay, because that actually should be active. We're gonna go with 60. You're gonna tell them my low air warning activated at 60 psi. So this is a good test because it activated no lower than 55 psi. Very good. The last test I'm gonna perform is the spring brakes test. Now you watch these. Pump until either one or both pop up. After it pops, then you can look to the gauge for the reading. But you want to keep an eye on that so you can see if only one or both pops. Keep going. Okay. So both pop. So you're going to tell them both of my brakes popped out at 38. We're good. We just have to be within 3. Okay, so 38 psi. I would have went with 38 too. Now it rose a little bit, but it was 38. Okay, so both of my brakes popped out at 38 psi. So this is a good test because they both popped out no lower than 20 psi. This concludes my air brake test. You could say this concludes or this ends. But you're just telling him that you're done so he can grade you. Because if you don't tell him, this is the end of my air brakes or this concludes my air brakes.
You start doing other stuff.
Yeah, he's going to stay there. Well, is he finished? Is he not? You got to let him know you're finished. So this concludes my air brakes test. Okay? So shut your key straight up and down. There you go. Okay. Same thing like when you get done with your InCab. You got to tell them, okay, and this completes or this concludes or that's the end of my InCab. You got to tell him that you're done, or else he's gonna think, well, maybe he's got to say something else. Maybe you missed something. He can't give you a grade until you say I'm done. So you got to tell him. That's why we say, and this concludes my air brake test. Okay. Same thing with your pre-trip. When you're doing your pre-trip and you get done and you feel you're done. You're just gonna wait till you tell him, okay, and this completes my pre-trip.
Yesterday I named everything, and then he looked at me and was like,
"Yeah,
finished."
Yeah, exactly. Because if I just start grading you, say you missed this and this and that, you can come back and say, well, I wasn't done yet. I knew I missed those, and I was gonna go back and get them. I didn't say I was done, so that's why you have to let them know that you're done. It's to take that bullshit away. So this concludes my air brake test. This is the end of my InCab, or this concludes my InCab inspection. When you're done, okay, I'm gonna check the whole right side of my truck and trailer the same way I did the left side, and this completes my pre-trip. Then he can give you a grade. Okay. Same thing when you're doing your skills in the yard. When you're done with each skill, yeah, and they want you to, Eric, I don't know about Greg, but Eric wants you to put the truck in neutral, pull the yellow brake, and then blow the horn. That's the way Eric wants you to do it. I think Greg, I don't know if Greg, if you could just blow the horn and you're done. I never heard them at DMV say you got to put it in neutral and set your brakes, but I heard Eric telling the student that the other day. He says, put it in neutral, set your brakes, and then blow your horn. So at the end of every skill, if you don't blow your horn, that examiner's gonna stand there, and you're gonna be looking at him. He's gonna be like, "Are you done?" And he tells you too, before you do your skills. He tells you. He said, "Okay, at the end of each skill, I want you to put the truck in neutral, set your brakes, and then blow your horn when you're done." And he'll tell you. So that's why then he'll tell you, "Well, what did I tell you to do? Didn't I tell you what to do?" He'll come at you. So at the end of each skill, like I said, Eric, I know, wants you to put the truck in neutral, set the brakes, and then blow the horn. And then he'll wave you up. Then he'll tell you, "Okay, come on up, do your offset." So then you just release your brakes, put it back in drive, pull up, do your offset. What's today? Thursday? You guys already did offset, huh?
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then once you get done with your offset, you get back there, put the truck in neutral, set your brakes.
So
blow the
that's
horn.
why you guys are making us do the horn every time we finish,
Yeah.
right? So okay.
Yeah, so you get used to it.
Okay.
Because he can't give you a grade until you tell him you're done. And he's way back here, you're in the truck, you can't, "Hey, I'm done!" No, just blow the fucking horn. And that's the way they do
What
it.
if we got out of the truck and the test is still going, and that's gonna fail us? The whole
No.
test, right?
Because for each skill for your straight back, you're allowed to get out of the truck once.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What if we use already the get out, and then but we thought we finish, and then we get out again? That's gonna fail. The
He's
test.
not gonna fail you for blowing your horn. He's gonna chew you out. He's gonna tell you, "What did I tell you to do? Didn't I tell you to blow your horn? Why didn't you blow your horn?" He'll chew you out, but he won't fail you. At DMV, they'll fail you. But, like I said, our examiners want you guys to pass. They don't want to fail you. But if you fail, you fail. He's got to grade you somewhat honestly. It's just, they're allowed to be a little bit more lenient than the DMV examiners. A little bit lenient means like blowing the fucking horn, okay? If you do that bullshit at DMV, they could possibly fail you. Over there at our school, Eric or Greg will just chew you out. Don't you know how to follow instructions? What did I tell you to do? They'll do that to you.
Hit with the stick.
But but they won't fail you, okay? They can be a little bit more lenient in some ways like that, okay? But you guys actually have to pass this shit. They're not just gonna give it to you. They can't. The trucks have cameras. At Swift, they're watching. So you guys, they have to be careful. They can't just say, "Okay, yeah, you fucked up, but I'm gonna give it to you." You gotta get it. You gotta do it right. Okay. All right. Okay. So right after your air brakes, the examiner is gonna say, "Very good, Tobares. You passed your air brakes. Go ahead and perform your in-cab inspection." Okay. I'm gonna check my seatbelt the same way I did for my air brakes.
I'm going to check my seatbelt the same way I did for my air brakes.
I'm gonna perform another safe start.
I'm going to perform another safe start. Both brakes are applied. Truck is in neutral.
Start your truck. There's your ABS, okay? Just so you can see it. Okay. Go ahead and start your truck. And did you see how the death flashes on and flashes off too? Because you know how we say that a lot of you guys don't even really pay attention. It flashes on, it goes all the way up, then it goes all the way off, and then it comes back on again. That's why we say it flashed on, flashed off, and now it's giving me a proper reading. Okay, so my ABS indicator turned on and turned off within seconds,
My ABS indicator turned on and turned off within seconds,
which indicates it's working properly.
which indicates it's working properly.
My DEF indicator,
My DEF indicator
it flashed on and flashed off,
flashed on and flashed off,
and now it's giving me a proper reading,
and now it's giving me a proper reading.
and it should never read no lower than 1/8 of a tank.
It should never read no lower than 1/8 of a tank.
On oil pressure gauge,
Oil pressure gauge,
that should rise immediately after starting the truck,
that should rise immediately after starting the truck.
and it's supposed to read between 20 and 60 psi.
And that should read between 20 and 60 psi.
My water temperature gauge,
Water temperature gauge,
that should gradually rise
that should gradually
and it's supposed to read between 170 and 180 degrees. My voltage meter, plus or minus, either one. Okay. My voltage meter, that is supposed to read between 12 and 14 volts. My primary gauge and secondary gauge, they should never exceed 140 psi. That's all of our gauges. Now we're going to do our loop. Okay? So I'm going to check both of my mirrors. They should be clear and clean. They're not cracked or broken. They're properly mounted and secured. And they're adjusted to me as a driver. My windshield, that also should be clear and clean. It's not cracked or broken. It's properly mounted and secured. There's no illegal sticker or any obstructions. My windshield wipers, they're not cracked or broken. They're properly mounted and secured. The rubber is not dry rotted or missing any pieces. Then turn them on and show them that they're functioning properly. Okay, my windshield wipers are functioning properly. The truck is out of Washington. Leader in defroster. All the way to the right. Put it there. And the fan is already all the way on. Stick your hand up there. So, okay, my defroster is working. Stick your hand down at the bottom. And tell them, man, my heater's working. Okay, we'll shut off the heater because we don't want that bad boy. On a 20-inch steering wheel, we should have no more than 2 inches of plate or no more than 10 degrees. And I have a city horn and an air horn. Okay. And on test day, blow them and tell them, okay, they're working properly. Now all we have left are all of our lighting indicators. So my left turn signal is working properly. My right turn signal working properly. My four-way flash is set on the turn signal. Are working properly. Now I have my headlights. So my low beams. And click down your thing for your hydrant. So, yeah, that's your low beam. So right there would just be like your parking lights, all the yellow ones. One more click, turns on your headlights. Okay, so those are your low beams. High beam. Just like a car. Okay? Just like a car. Lift that back up and shut off the headlights. Okay, good. Now all we have left is safety equipment. So just tell the examiner I should carry some spare electrical fuses. I also need to carry a minimum of 3 reflective triangles. My fire extinguisher is properly mounted and secured. Charged in the green, has a locking pin in the handle, and it should be no lower than a 10 piece of wood. Very good. Okay. So we'll let that build just for a second. We want the trailer to fill back up.
And that concludes the...
And that completes my in-cab inspection.
Okay.